This one was obviously unaware of what was happening right in front of him. It would be his last mistake. Mark looked back at John and saw him listening to a small radio. The MZBs in the lead truck must have been reporting the problem to him. Mark realized the plan was going to hell in a handbasket. John's mouth was in overdrive, and Mark figured he was telling the driver to get the hell out of Dodge. Mark pushed the muzzle of his battle rifle out of the window so he could shoot the MZB leader before he made his getaway. As he was pulling the rifle into shooting position, two men stood up in the back of the lead truck and aimed their AR-15 rifles at the counterfeit gate guards. An instant later, Mark realized that the rifles weren't AR-15s. They were the fully automatic version that the military called the M16. The two automatic rifles fired so fast it was hard for Mark to differentiate between the shots. When the two men by the gates were down, the rifles found their way to the defiant woman and the man watching her. They were cut down in less than a second. Mark could see that the others in the courtyard were running so that they wouldn't be next. The karate man wanted badly to use his first shot on John, but he knew he had to silence the two M16s. He aimed at the first one and jerked the trigger twice. He missed, but the shooters were too intent on the shooting gallery of running targets in the courtyard to notice they were being targeted. By this time, all of the trucks were in reverse. Mark took a deep breath and blew out half of it. His next shot hit home and the man crumpled. His lifeless body hit the ground beside the truck. The other shooter looked up at where the shots had come from. He pulled his rifle around and up and let off a burst in Mark's direction. Mark pulled himself back from the window just in time to hear the bullets impact the outside wall. He was thankful Mr. Davis had built the cabins out of heavy logs. While that was happening, the vehicles in the convoy were picking up speed in their rearward retreat. Some of the Silver Hills men in the foxholes began to fire at them. The men in the back of the pickups returned fire. A second later, the air was consumed by the sound of gunfire with smoke and dust hanging thick. Mark peeked back out the window and tried to get a steady beat on the second shooter in the lead truck. He was still spraying pellets of death across the compound as his vehicle backed up. Mark fired at him several times. He didn't think he hit the man, but at least he was able to make him duck for cover. He got a few more shots off at the fleeing trucks, but they were just pot shots. He hoped that somehow someone had hit John before he got away, but he knew the odds were against it. He changed magazines in his weapon just in case they came back. He noted that there were still 4 rounds in the old one. He had only expended 16 rounds in the encounter that had lasted probably less than 15 seconds. After a few moments, it became evident that John wasn't coming right back. The dust that the retreating convoy was raising disappeared over the horizon, in reversal of how Mark had seen it approach. He heard Gunny's scratchy voice on the radio. "Mark, are they gone?"